Hey, we are live. Welcome everyone to this Wednesday. What is it? It's September 16th. Oh my God, it's already September. Anyway, this is episode 10. We made it to 10 without shitting the bed. Episode 10 of Making Waves. Thank you everyone out there for joining us tonight. We have a very special guest. You guys know him as the voice of Crobot. Please, everyone, welcome Brandon Yeagley.
Hey guys. Are you guys coming to the pirate ship?
Yeah.
Guys.
Well, guys, it seems that Brandon didn't get the memo, and he's already at Half Moon Cay's testing out the sand and water. So he's going to park it there for about, I don't know, 8 months. So he's good. So everything's golden there, he says. So we're good.
Yeah. How does this sound, though? It's close. Cheeseburger.
Yep, fantastic. So
cheeseburger. Listen, I'll when you guys get here.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna expect the song Eddie tonight, so this should be extra special. So thank you. Anyway, guys, if you're just joining us for the first time on Making Waves, welcome. If you're following along on our Facebook Live feed, in the comment section, if you have a question for Brandon, please throw it our way, and we'll try to get to it. And obviously, there's no need to introduce him. I'm going to do it anyway. You've got your host here, Chad Nicefield. Everyone knows Chad from Band Wilson, and he's also the Shiprocked host. So he's the hostess with the mostest. But guys, I'm going to basically let you do your thing. Welcome, everyone, to this episode 10 of Making Waves with Brandon from Crobot. So I want to tell you what, I'm going to step aside and let Chad and Brandon talk shop, okay? Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Make a note that we all have matching microphones.
Yeah. I'm new to the microphone set. This is pretty sexy. So
I got that memo. But what happened to the memo where you guys weren't coming? Because I have my jug. I'm ready here. I brought extra chairs. Like I'm all prepared for you guys to be here. I'm like, look at this beautiful pirate ship. The sun is out. It's shining. I'm getting a nice tan, I think.
Is the bar fully stocked behind you?
It was, and I mean,
a couple hard pressure on your liver. So I appreciate that you got the memo. I also got the memo. I just didn't know if you got the memo, so I was gonna wait until you showed up. Looks like you showed up. Come on, I'm on my way.
I showed up, and there's nobody here. So if you guys aren't coming, I need more water than this, because this is almost gone.
If you go to the lifeguard shed, there is a water purifier on the top shelf. You can go out to that lovely lagoon behind you, and you've got water aplenty.
Guys, I feel like I really royally screwed up here. I feel like this is life or death.
We'll send provisions.
Okay.
Brandon, now that you're at the pirate ship bay, I got to ask you, is this what you would call the proverbial mother brain? I know that you have a record out. Is this where the record was made in that mother brain of a ship back there? Or what's up?
Yeah, half of the songs are about the pirate ship. The other half are about the coconuts, but we won't go into the coconuts. But the pirate ship, it's a sore subject. But the pirate ship, however, very much the mother brain. Very much the mother brain. It's a muse of many sorts, and when I'm out here and I just feel the pirate wind in my hair, it just makes me feel free again. I really think that's why my facial hair grows the way it does. This is because in a past life I was in fact a pirate. But I digress. The album, though, it's all right.
No, but the hair is where it's at. For those that aren't able to see us that hear the podcast, Brandon's background on Zoom, and you can tune in to the Facebook page at Shiprocked and see the pirate ship that we're talking about, just so you're not left out. But the mother brain is what I wanted to really talk about for a second, if we can move into the ship and talk about you guys making that record, because I have to say, I love it, and I know that it was quite the treasure trove of an experience to make it. I know you guys went through a lot of hoops to get to where it became reality. Can we talk a little bit about making that record and how it kind of all came together?
Sure, absolutely. You don't want me to do like audio style what I'm seeing here with the pirate ship for the podcast viewers?
Can we save that on the outro, because we'd like to send them? Let's do it on the outro, because that way we can send them off into the evening with these imagine their imagination just flourishing.
That's a great idea. I think and that'll give me more time to experience what's here too.
Because we'd like to spend our next 3 hours with you talking shop.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
So, yeah,
sweatshops. What's it like?
The album we made in Marietta, Georgia, with Corey Lowry, and it was such a great experience. We did have a lot of time to work on the record, so we really just pushed everything to the limits in the songwriting process, and we really just tried to just overanalyze things and make sure that, is this the right word I want to say here? Is this can we do a better verse? Does this pre-chorus even need to be there? All of those things that we do always delve into, Chad, as a songwriter, that you just you go through all those questions and they're never answered. Even when you do put them on paper and on record, you still go back and ask those same questions. But, we had a lot of time leading up into this one, and I think that really made for a better record. And working with Corey was just, he was the perfect person to work with us on this record, because we just had so many grungy songs and really dark, that it had a really dark vibe, and the album kind of just came together itself, in terms of the sound. And I think it ended up being that he was the perfect producer to produce the record for us.
Hey, real quick, guys, in Shiprock land, just so you know, Corey is a friend of Shiprock, and his brother plays guitar for Seven Dust. You guys know him as Clint Lowry. So I just wanted to throw that in there for a little trivia. That's all.
I was going to put those bridges together and say, working with a fellow musician that's been through the cavernous versions of the record industry in general, not just his brother, but your record producer has been in and out of bands, made records, done the whole entire kit and caboodle. And so I would only imagine in your experience with working with somebody that's like you have a real partner, somebody that you can trust in that process of what you're doing. Am I kind of hitting anywhere?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I think his resume speaks for itself too. I mean, he's written so many awesome records, and when you genuinely are influenced and idolize who you're working with, it's really cool, because I mean, geez, Corey's been doing groove rock, for a long time, and I mean, his production skills are just so awesome, and bringing out the best of us is what happened in that studio. And I really do genuinely think that he was the best guy for the record. And, we are super happy with it. And looking back, I don't really question too much, and we wrote a song with him in the studio too, which is, and we named the record after that song, because basically it's, it just sums up the entire process, that it was, so smooth and so easy to work with him. And, I just think the record has a sound all in its own because of him as well.
So expanding upon that, man, when you guys, because you've had some really, really, really great people behind the board working on your records with you, from Machine to Corey, did it feel a little different? I know this is maybe a little bit more serious and you're probably ready for with old Chatty Daddy, but did it feel different? I should say, even Machine was a musician himself, but it feel different working with a constituent, somebody that comes from that world, as being in a touring band, all of that. I mean, was there a difference there?
I don't know. I mean, I think with Corey, he definitely felt like one of the guys, in the room. Yeah. Not that Machine didn't. I mean, Machine's always, very expressive, and he led that to the process too. And I think that pulled some great things out of us, and the best that we could do at that point in time too. And I think, as an album, producers aside, it's kind of a snapshot of where you are as a band at that point in time too, right? So I think the difference is we were at a different point, and we've been through it a few times, and not that we didn't want to go back to Machine, we just wanted to kind of switch things up a bit, and because we feel like we have so much to learn yet, and we just want to learn everything from everybody. So we try to venture out and do things differently each time, because we know we're going to learn from it. But I mean, the difference, I think it's definitely it sounds different from the Machine records, and I think it's just a testament to the snapshot of where we were as a band at that time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the idea of like you guys are growing and growing and growing as humans where you're at. The nucleus of your entire being, why you even got there is so far different, right? From because the Crobot I know started way back even before the Machine records, and you guys were a completely different people then. I mean, we naturally are. Our DNA is different. Our entire skin levels are being shed on a daily basis. So is that kind of like the concept behind Mother Brain? I should say, what does the name of the record actually mean? You said it was
Well,
about
yeah, I'm gonna get nerdy here for a bit, and
sweet.
I'm a terrible nerd, so please don't anybody question me on my Star Trek knowledge because I really don't. It's not vast at all. Not like the vastness of space, but I know there is like, and I try to just develop these characters and crazy, extravagant stories to pull lyrics out of myself. I feel like it helps me to have a story to start with, and I just I over exaggerate and play around with the conflicts and stuff, and it all ties into like what I'm trying to do with the comic and stuff too. So things start as a nucleus and just kind of grow themselves, as I have more time to think about it and whatnot. But the thought process that went into this record is like, okay, it's like a hive mentality, much like the Borg in Star Trek, where you have these like drones who don't necessarily think for themselves. They just do exactly what the queen has to say, or the king or whatever be the the head of that collective colony or what have you. But it's kind of like a hive mentality, where the characters may not be thinking for themselves, and maybe led by this higher being that's kind of the puppeteer behind the scenes. So that's a little bit of what Mother Brain has to do with.
You're probably my favorite vocalist, like lyricist that I mean, we're friends. We've toured with people. I've seen his butthole numerous times, different years, not the same time. I know him.
Say my butthole looks a lot different right now than it did when you've seen it.
I can't wait till I can see it. As soon as I can get closer to that butthole, I will. But to watch you grow as a lyricist too, because from the very jump when I heard the band, I was like, God damn, this motherfucker's all about the supernatural shit. Like I'm trying to follow along with your story, and then next thing I know, I'm in my mind in this cartoon-esque version of your lyrics, right? And then here you are now talking about putting out a comic book, and it seems like the perfect natural space for you to go into as a human. Can we talk a little bit about the comic book too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, it just kind of started, like I said, it's just a way to pull lyrics out of myself, and then I developed these crazy stories and characters and chupacabras and spaceborne killers, and it's just all stuff that I don't necessarily know where it comes from. Maybe some somewhere in the pirate ship, but
Yeah, in the mother
uh,
brain.
it's just me being a nerd and just passing time and trying to take these stories even further, because it helps me, and I feel like that's what I like in a band. Like my favorite bands growing up were like Tool and Coheed and Cambria and bands like that just were more than bands. It was a
Mm-hmm.
total experience. I had so much time that I spent diving into Maynard's lyrics and how it relates to like the evolution of human beings and developing another chromosome, and it's just like the rabbit hole is really deep, right? And who knows if it's just somebody's just connecting the dots here or if it's really what he means. Who really knows? But I mean, I just always was so just engulfed in the world of what they had to offer, and just it was just so much more than the music, and I've always loved that. And we have Bishop, who's just such an incredible artist, and he just makes just all of these stories, he brings them to life, and just seeing that, I was just sitting at a bar one day where my fiance Nicole works, and friend of mine, Sean Stromera, was sitting there, and we were just kind of talking comic books, and I knew he was a comic book artist, and I just threw this idea at him that I had, and he's like, you should get a hold of me. We should make this happen. And I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. And, it's just one of those things that you don't ever really think is going to come into fruition. But then we continued the conversation, and he really loved the ideas, and I loved his art and what he has to offer. So I think just the whole universe itself is just kind of, these songs continue to take me somewhere too. And that's how I really feel about all of this. And it's Chad, we put everything into what we create, and it's not that it is and defines us as a whole who we are, but it is a huge part. And I think it's just an extension of who I am with the comic stuff, and that's what I always enjoyed as a fan of music, to see that in a band that they just, it's not like, we're not like Kiss, we're not trying to sell Crobot coffins yet, but
you could.
We could. I mean,
but we're gonna sell Crobot coffins, motherfuckers.
No, we just like to make everything an extension of who we are as people too, because as a fan of music, I always enjoy to take a peer into that periscope.
Could I interject here real quick? I mean, I'm looking at the comic, and you mentioned Cambria, and I know that they've been doing some stuff as far as that, but obviously a lot of this, I mean, it's kind of an extension of the 70s when you take someone like Roger Dean, who took all those Yes covers and made them so futuristic, and the stories in the gatefold and everything a lot that matches the music. So obviously with nowadays you have this kind of like creative endeavor to where you can like create this concept. The concept album is coming back, but it's no longer just the record, it's the whole packaging and extensions, which I want to bring up. If people don't know what we're talking about here, Brandon has a comic on Pro Hobo Comics is the name of his company. Go check him out, prohobocomics.com. Is that correct? Yep. And they've got an issue 1 out regarding their first EP, which is Legend of the Spaceborne Killer. So interesting, very astral plane, it sounds. But anyway, so I'm going to tie that into a question we have from a shiprocker, Mary. She wants to know what's going on with issue 2.
Issue 2 is coming soon. With everything going on, it's been a hurdle a little bit. But we're going to get issue 2 printed and pressed in hopefully the next coming months. We'll have issue 2 for you guys. I really hope we'll have it for a stocking stuffer this year. So definitely look for it to come in the next couple months. Excited to get issue 2 out there. Issue 1 was kind of like the setup, so it's a little bit to me like the boring stuff, because I have a little bit of insider information. And the second issue is more of the Schwarzenegger flick. So I'm pretty excited to get it out there. So
a lot of bad English. Anyway, so Mary, thank you. I hope that answers you. They're working on number 2. And again, guys, that's prohobocomics.com if you want to check out what Brandon's got going on there in the visual field and how it relates to Crobot. So thanks, Brandon.
Oh, thank you.
You keep like nudging into these little areas in your answers of where I wanted to go, because your response to this was about the packaging, right? In all that, your brain. You start curious. Do you start with lyrics before you even hear music? Like do you have like a lyric book that you have sitting around and you're pulling from that to match that melody or whatever you're working on?
I stopped doing that. I had to stop doing that, because then I'd be so married to the melody, because I think what I'm saying is so cool. And then I'm like, dude, come on, put it on the shelf, man. It's not that cool. It's all about the melody. So now I just mush mouth everything. Like there might be a word or two that slip in there, and that might be a word that I bring back and try to make, because I feel like obviously that's a word that fits there that I just naturally went to. And it's fire, blood, and the themes are almost always the same. But then from the mush mouth, it's like, do I love this melody? And when I start to say yes, like I usually try to come up with a melody, and I don't even record it. Sometimes I let the best things go and don't record them, but sometimes the best things are, do I remember it? That's the test. The ultimate test that I give things is like, all right, I think that's a cool melody. I might voice memo it just so it's somewhere, but then I'll let it go for 2 days, and if that melody comes back like a boomerang, then I'll work with it,
Yeah.
Or, if I'm sitting and just in write mode, like, okay, I got 2 hours to work on this song, go. And it's like, all right, I start with the chorus and then I work backwards from that. And usually it's mush mouth, and then I figure out the lyrics. So like, okay, well, what's the song about? So I start there, work my way back, and that's been my process of late, and it seems to be the most efficient. But I try not to think of lyrics first, because I usually fall in love with something about it that I chase, and I run into a brick wall.
It's funny because you're probably sitting in that room like trying to convince a group of other people who are like, it's too many syllables, right? It doesn't work in that space. And you're like fighting the good fight for that word to essentially change the entire chemical makeup of the song just so that can fit in there. I've been in that position so many times, as I can only imagine have been. Did you play Dungeons and Dragons, by the way?
I didn't. I'm a terrible nerd. I sit on the sidelines and watch all of these super nerds and just wish that I had that kind of intelligence.
Just waiting to pound them as soon as they're done.
Hey, I wanted to just chime in real quick. This was not a question. This was a statement from one of our ship rockers. This is Bill. Bill just wanted to say, and with a double exclamation point, Chad and Brandon together again. So I guess he's getting the feels from you guys talking. So
I'm fully repped. I want to throw that out there.
I've been erect since you said.
Bill, you need to sign a waiver.
Yeah. Send it to me first, please.
No, but I just want to let you know that people enjoy seeing two friends talk, and I just want to throw that in there.
Oh, we had such a great time. We had the drunkest shit tour that led. I don't know. I don't even know what came first, the chicken or the egg, or the ship or the shit. I don't even remember.
Yeah. The drunk or the shit.
I think the ship came first because our epic bowling battle pretty much was like the start of our bromance, I think. We had that epic bowling match at Shiprocked. And I want to give the exposition leading into our meeting with you guys, because we had so many people along the way tell us, oh, you guys remind us of those Wilson guys. You guys really get along well with those guys. And it's like, hey, we've been hearing that a lot. I think we're on ship with them guys.
Yeah.
So, let's hang. And we did, and it's just, it started everything, and here we are again, just buds and just catching up. And
it's a monster, really, when you think about it. I think the actual first place that I met you guys was at the Rock on the Range Festival, and one of you was carrying a big case of PBR. I had no idea who you are, and you didn't know who I was, but one of you goes, hey brother, you want a PBR? And and at this time I had a big beard. Yeah, I think you had the big chops at that point in time. I think it was, how big are your chops right now?
They're just tamed. I'm able to watch them a lot more.
These motherfuckers were full on wall chops. And I was like, this motherfucker's got chops and beers? I'm going where they're going. And then we went to the press tent, and I felt like there was this weird, one end of the press tent at that festival had you guys, and the other end had us, and you could hear each other's fans verbose yelling as we were being interviewed. It was a pretty cool experience.
That sounds
from there.
Hey, you guys partying over there? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Over here? Yeah.
It was no longer about the actual thing we were there to do.
Just because I want to keep it within the realm of what you were talking about, Brandon, as far as being a nerd, we had Mark, one of our ship rockers, wanted to ask you if you had a choice to party between a necromancer and chupacabra.
Oh man,
who'd win? Who would you run off for the evening?
Partying, right? We're partying.
You're just barred, okay, no hold barred, no cops involved. You're just allowed to just torch the town.
The necromancer for sure. He can bring me back from the dead, dude. No brainer.
Such a great answer.
Do anything. Really? I can do anything.
Such a great answer. Mark, I hope that answered your extremely left field question, but. All right, necromancer, because he could die 20 times over. He's brought back.
It's stronger. It's you wish for more wishes. When you get a wish, 3 wishes, you wish for infinity.
The 9 lives of Brandon.
I wanted to go into this. I'll take us out of our bromance moment, because it's really about you and not our penises touching. But you guys have taken, so through that whole idea of And, yeah, you know, so the whole idea of taking the records that you've made, and you mentioned Kiss. I don't know if you guys are fans of Kiss or the branding that they did with their band, but in 2020, especially, since we're not on the road, right? The idea of what you were able to build previous to this, right? If you were in a moving band, the parts are always going. That's your income, that's your livelihood, that's how you pay the bills, that's how things get done. And if you haven't been thinking about your brand, right? The idea of what your fans really can, I guess, mirror to what your music is, and then have a tangible object, right? Because that's how they know it, we know it. That's how we put food in our mouths. You guys have done a really great job incorporating food like hot sauce, hot meat rub. We're talking about comic books. The ability to grow from just this idea of the dreaming in the garage days, and this is exactly what I imagine you guys are doing. I can't imagine anything else other than while you're singing about all the supernatural shit that you think about, in the back of your head is like, I'm gonna make a motherfucking lunch pail. For sure gonna make a lunch pail about that, you know? And here you are, here 2020. I don't know how things are going on the front with you guys, but I pay attention to all of it, and I think it's great. If you haven't saw, the band has hot sauce. You have rub, right? You have like a hot rub or a meat rub. What does he call it again?
It's called the Crub. The Crub. Rub.
And if I'm not mistaken, you guys also have a coffee as well?
Yeah.
Coffee?
Chupa Java. And it's awesome. It's awesome stuff. You know, we love our coffee. And you know, Dan, our drummer, is a coffee connoisseur, and that dude knows more about coffee than I've forgotten about coffee. Which is a lot.
I know those types.
But no, I mean, again, it's just like, what do we like? What do we want to get for free?
That's where it all starts. Like, you know, that's where it all starts. Like, dude, as you're pouring, like, I only imagine like a fucking bottle of Frank's on a burger. You're like, I wish we had a
thought process, because you're tapping into your own supply, right? That's like rule number one is, you know, don't
behind your own supply.
Behind your own supply. That's what it's all about, Crobot Merchland. We just create the supply.
Well, no, I think it's actually a very smart move to kind of move into those things that interest you, because, you know, your fans generally, there's a niche bunch of them that kind of want to absorb the whole band, you know. Kiss is a terrible example because they're so massive that there's so many, but like a band like Crobot, you guys have a great following and stuff like that. And there are fans that like want to absorb what you guys are about. And I mean, it's great to have, do I need 11 Crobot t-shirts, or should I take this money and buy some of this product they've got going on here? I'm still helping support the band, but I'm also kind of buying into whatever their lifestyle is. And that's such a cool thing. And I mean, that's just where we're at these days. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Bishop, he's like the mastermind behind all the artwork. And I think genuinely that our merch sells because his art is so awesome. And
that's another layer of it, right? That's the part of your band.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, you know, we never feel like we're swindling anybody if we think that our product is good, right? So we just whatever we believe in hot sauce. So we are going to keep making hot sauces. And it started out as a joke, like, what, we could get hot sauce. We use a lot of hot sauce. We should probably have hot sauce. And now it's our fourth hot sauce. And 4 different types. It's our fourth one. I think it was Christmas last year. We did a bundle where we had all 4 together in a box set. We brought all the OGs back. So it's like turned into this thing. Like each album cycle, we put out a different hot sauce to coincide with the record.
Chad, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Summer Camp 2021 barbecue.
Yeah.
We gotta use the Crobot rub.
Oh my God! And we will.
Yeah, we've been harnessing our
deep and tender
smoking abilities. This COVID, we've been harnessing between Bishop and I. We've been smoking some meats.
I'm sure you guys have.
Hey, by the way, Matthew wanted to chime in because we're talking about your products here that are obviously, you know, separate from the music, and he says that all of them are fantastic. He has actually the rub. What else do you have? You have the rub. We
got Mother Pain, which is our peach habanero hot sauce. That's
you got the hot, because he has the hot sauce, he has the rub, and the coffee. He says the rub is fantastic on chicken and wing and ribs.
Is that Matt Thomas, by the way? I want to ask a question. Is Matthew Thomas?
Yeah, it's Matt Thomas. Dude,
I knew it. I saw that.
Freaking Matt Thomas, man.
Well, when he said that, when he was like, I got all of them, I'm like, I've been to his house, and I know that he has them. I've tried it. I guess you had 4 at that time when I was last there. So,
does Matt have the Wilson serving trays?
He has a dog named Wilson. And the dog brings the food out.
Yeah, that's a true story.
So there's so many layers to your, like, there's so many layers to Crobot, which you're able to do, not just as incredible musicians writing incredible songs, but even when you're talking about this, you strive in a downtime situation. I know it hurts your heart, like everybody, but I saw a live dude, the live dudes concept where you guys are able to get together like other people are. The difference is you're funny and can speak musician lingo as well as like non-musician lingo, and that's a huge benefit to you. I watched a couple of the well, maybe just Lejean, right? You had Lejean on.
Yeah, we had Lejean on, and we had Corey on for the first episode.
Gotcha, that's right. How did that come about, and how's it been going? How's those sort of endeavors been going for you guys?
We're just trying to honestly just to stay relevant in these weird times, and ironically, I just sometimes I feel weird about all of the Facebook and stuff. It's just Instagram. It's all weird to me. It kind of takes me out of my zone. Yeah. That's what I hear. I hear it's a lot of fun. I hear it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But no, it just and I feel like Live Dudes to us was like, all right, let's just bring on people that we've toured with, or that we idolize, and or that we're just genuinely fans of who they are as people, aside from the musician thing, and kind of just have a conversation, and I feel like Chad, I'm sure you feel this way too. I don't want to speak for you, but a good interview and a bad interview, and usually the good interviews are the ones that are just simple conversations. It's not about like, sticking to the all of these questions that it's like every interview you ever do is sometimes it's all the same questions all the time, and I feel like the best ones are when you just have a conversation, and we have the opportunity. We've had a lot of awesome opportunities to tour with awesome people, and yourself included, and we've talked about having you on the show, so I will
come on the show.
Yeah, I hope that we can make that happen. But it's just like it's just us trying to stay afloat and figure out these weird, wacky times, and so people don't forget about us, but at the same time, like, it's just reconnecting with these people that we genuinely like as human beings.
Yeah, and other people get to see that. It's like the band's on tour with each other, talking to each other on the sideline. I'm a fan. I see it all the time. I'm like, oh, they're talking to each other. It's like they're friends. That moment is real special for the fans. Too.
I mean, why can't Live Dudes be like live from Daryl's house for the hard rock sect?
Because we don't have enough. By the technology that can make us all play together. It's like, it's like the one thing that they haven't figured out is like, how can I play with you? You're all the way on the other side of the country. I could talk to you, but why can't I play with you, dude? It's like this weird thing. You wouldn't think that it's so hard to do, but it's incredibly hard because there's so much latency when you have so many cables. It's like Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted travel through this insane universe to get to this other place, man. And it's all that stuff in between that we just can't seem to figure out.
Hey, speaking of the live aspect of things, Brandon, you guys are known as a highly energetic live band, and for you as the front man, what's it like when you kind of have to take the foot off the gas and you have to calm that performer part of you down, and like, oh my God, I'm not going to be on the road. I'm not going to be, it's like being a gymnast and not being able to hit the fucking parallel bars. And like, what do you do? How do you calm yourself? I mean, I know these performances you're doing, the virtual stuff is part of helping kind of exercise that, but I know the live audience of 1,000 people in front of you and you just doing your thing. I mean, how do you tame that beast?
It's hard. It's hard, you know. I'll be quite honest. I mean, I love being home with my family, and that's the silver lining in this is I get to spend a
Mhm.
lot of time with my daughter. I get to watch her grow up. You know, that's amazing. That's like, you know, it's such an amazing thing. Just first that she was born, that's an amazing thing, right? And
Yeah.
I get to watch this human being grow up that I, you know, wouldn't normally get to see in such an intense period of time because, you know, half of the year we're gone and um you know, it's a crazy thing to just have the pause button right now. But you know, our wheels never stop spinning, thinking of songs and all the other stuff that goes into, you know, who we are as a band and who we are as creative people. That stuff just doesn't stop. We can't put the pause button on that. So that's all things that we need to do to be the best people that we are. I feel. I mean, I'm just, you know, speaking for myself. I can't. I'm the best person I can be when I'm being creative, and I have that just accomplishment of writing an awesome song or hearing an awesome riff from Bishop or you know any of those things that just get the creative wheel spinning because that's just who I am. You know, so we've been trying to just keep working at something, you know, and hopefully by the time everything gets kicked back up and ready to go, we're just, you know, almost like we never missed a beat. And, you know, I mean, the live things, the streaming things, it's great, but it doesn't fill the void. And I'm sure it doesn't fill the void for fans either. You know, it's what we got right now. So, but what's the other thing that's cool about it is like everybody else is in the same spot. So you have this guy who's sitting at home and this guy who's sitting at home, and those guys can jam now. You know,
Yeah.
like whether it's pre-recorded or not, or however some people do those quarantine style covers where you just have this all-star cast of people coming together that you would never be able to see come together and do anything like this had we all been on tour. So I mean, I think there's silver linings in all of this, and I think you know, I know I for sure have not that I've ever taken touring for granted, but I sure as hell won't take touring for granted now
Right.
because we've been away
Yeah.
for so long. And I feel
Yeah.
like fans are going to feel the same way, right? When we get back at it, it's just going to be better than it's ever been.
No, I can. We always talk about what's going to be the first thing, and not the drive-in shows. Those are great. I mean, people are thinking outside the box, but it's the drive-in show. It's not the club, the theater, the arena. And we're
Yeah, the
thinking
energy's
about
completely
what's it going to
different,
be like
right?
when that first band, that first event, the actual first one. What's it like walking when that first note hits? What's everyone's collective gasp going to be like? Oh, thank God I can breathe on my own. I don't have a fucking like regulator in on my face anymore. I'm fucking, you know, I mean, is that going to be like just, I can only imagine as the audience member, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. I've been around a long time. I mean, I'm just kind of like, I can imagine the artist is you just got to be like, how do I just not explode and shoot my wad in the first minute because I'm going to be so full of absolute aggression
Of
and
jizz.
happiness and just fucking jizz. Well, hopefully you fucking worked it
Yeah,
out
yeah.
in the fucking dressing room in the fucking sink. Nonetheless,
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you
Do you know
watched?
we
Chad
have
told
the
you
camera.
my pregame rituals.
I did. I said, you got to see this guy when he
You
warms
naughty
up.
boy.
But what
no,
I think would be hilarious. Sorry.
Yeah, just the idea alone of that first note, that first riff, and that first how the fuck you doing, fucking
Motherfuckers.
Denver,
Yeah.
or where the fuck we're at.
Yeah.
That's gonna be just an amazing feeling. So yes, obviously, with doing what you're doing right now is it's keeping people entertained, keeping your chops up. But we all know when those people hit the turnstiles and the sweat is starting to go, and you're backstage and you're like going, "Where the fuck's my towel? Where's my towel? It should be on my rig right now. Fire the assistant. Fire the production coordinator." No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were doing a jizz joke again. I'm sorry. I realized that were you.
Well, we had towels, but you used them all.
Yeah.
But no, so Brandon, but it is amazing because you guys are really quite prolific during this time. You're doing a lot of shows. You're doing live dudes. You're doing things for our other friends in this business, and it's amazing to watch. So kudos to you guys for sticking with it and not just kind of putting your head down. You guys are, it's a breath of fresh air to see artists, taking this time. And to end this point, and we had Mark Tremonti. We had the pleasure of having Mark on a few weeks ago, and he's recording a new solo album. He's like, this might be downtime. I'm just going to record this damn album. So
yeah. And that's, it's obviously we'd all rather be touring and not sitting at home, but it's kind of like the grass is always greener situation, right? You're on tour and you're like, it's the last couple days. And you're like, man, just a couple more days. I'm so tired. I just need to sleep. And it's like, I want that feeling so bad.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, dude, it's crazy to think about like that feeling ever being in your body. Again, I can only imagine, like, I will never, ever say that out loud to anybody again.
I won't even say it internally.
Yeah. You guys do. I didn't want to interrupt that moment, but there is a thing here that I wanted to talk about, because we're talking about the separation of people and technology and all of that. Now, where does everybody live currently? Are you guys all together in the same area?
Eddie and I are relatively close,
Okay.
about 15 miles away from each other, and
Okay.
Dan and Bishop are relatively close to each other in Austin, Texas. So
Okay.
we are not collectively close, but as separate entities we are. So Dan and Bishop get together and jam and write and things and send it out. So that's that's the beauty of technology and dealing with all of this, is that we just Dropbox song ideas, and we're able to just really kind of work together as much as we can, and navigate through all of this as much as we can.
Collaborative for sure. I mean, that was my question, is, are you able to actually use your creative sides collectively, through, if you're, there's different ways you can do it. And I didn't know how you guys were, kind of wading those waters.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, because I saw a video for Gasoline. Was that shot during like the pandemic, or was that before pandemic?
That was, anything live that you see coming out is all during the pandemic.
It was not a lot. I don't think it was live. If it was a live video, it was incredible, but it was your head, different parallels starting. It looked like a video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys shoot that?
That's all COVID stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's the type of shit that like really drives us, the fans, and on top of it, your creative spaces. I didn't know if you guys had done that beforehand, or if you had that moment to actually, realize it in the midst of all this madness. So that's cool. It's cool to see you guys do that, man.
We tried to stay a leg up on everything, and honestly, I wish we could do more. I wish I could do more. But it's tough. It's tough to kind of put the live stuff on pause for so long. But it is always the other side of the coin, right? Is that, you obviously have to write new songs to have a new record. So we're not that we want to look past Mother Brain, but we kind of have to like switch gears a little bit, and we're writing the new record. But I think as soon as the last record comes out, we're writing the new record. So I don't think it's really anything different for us. I think it's just our natural process and our natural just drive to have an abundance of songs when we get to that point of making the record. But I will say, just a little snippet of my 2 cents here is that I think we're onto something pretty cool. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and we get to spend like so much time on songs, like an unforeseeable time. So I think we're really taking our time, and we're not rushing things, and we're revisiting maybe sooner than we would normally. And I think we're not really putting things on the shelf until we're like, okay, yeah, wait, a little more to the left. Okay, there it is.
It's great, man.
No, I was going to ask, we have a question here, and it's a 3-pronged question for you. So let's take you back to a very young Brandon, your first show, your first concert, your first record, and the moment you decided, I'm going to be a musician. This is what I'm going to do.
Wow. So my first concert, I went to see Typo Negative at the Trocadero Theater in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Okay.
That was almost a hometown show for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just blew me away. It blew me away. and I think it was Lacuna Coil was also on the bill, and they were awesome. It was just like, and this, my whole experience at first was, I went with my uncle, who is just, he's just a super fan, right? So he went early, we went early, and we got there, and I got to see like Peter Steele and Johnny Kelly like walking. I could see him like walking past the window, and like every time they'd walk past the window, I'd be like, oh, "You see him? You just walked past the window," and like it was just this whole world that I was just kind of thrown into. And I was always a music fan. Like for all the stories that, any my family members tell me, it's like before you could even read, you knew who Ozzy Osbourne was because you'd go to the record store and you'd point and you say, that's Ozzy Osbourne. So I think and I have uncles who play guitar and instruments and we're in bands, and so I think it's just part of my DNA. And the first concert also, just that experience was just so amazing. So that I think I always take myself back to that moment when that was me, just trying to catch a glimpse of that guy you're about to see, or that guy that you just saw, or and I and seeing somebody like Lemmy, who took all the time in the world to stop and talk to his fans, I think is just, it all brings me back to that moment of being that giddy little kid at a Type O Negative concert.
Yeah.
And I think the
Which
first,
is, yeah, I was gonna say, I was getting real fast. It's funny you mentioned that because I remember when we had Johnny and Kenny on Shiprock for a guest appearance on the Stowaway stuff, and there were people kind of going, "Oh my God, they're real.
yeah,
These are real people," because they're they meant a lot to like musicians who are modern bands. They meant a shit ton. So to hear this reaction, I'm not surprised one iota.
yeah. And I mean, at the end of the show, Peter Steele grabbed his bass strings and ripped them off of the bass. It was, still to this day, I can't believe it. Like, as a kid, imagine, like, he just ripped the bass strings off his bass and he drank a whole jug of wine. The whole thing was this.
Dude's totally getting laid tonight.
10 times.
Yeah.
But I think the first record I ever bought with my own money, I'll go there, I think was first Seether record. The first Seether record that I know is the first Seether record, which is Fine. A Disclaimer, I think, is the first one. So that was the one with Fine Again and their big breakout record. That's when, CDs were still in stores. And I just saw the CD and I took a chance on it. I had no idea who the band was. I saw the cover and I'm like, yeah, this one. I'm going to try this. And I think that
came up gold. It came up gold.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss taking a chance on a record because I just think that I can judge it by its cover. As low as that is for me to do, I miss that. I miss that as like the physical. Then that goes back to like what we talked about before. Like, that's what I'm a fan of, the physical, like put it in my hand. Like I need to see it and feel it and know that this is just more than just audible vibrations. Like, give me something more.
Can I interject here two things real quick? First one, this is a disclaimer as well that Christine, our PR head, she wanted to mention that you mentioned Seether. Your producer is also in Seether now, so let that be known.
See
so
how
Corey's now Seether. This is great, and thank you for circling back. You read my mind because I really didn't want to lose this chance. Secondly, with you guys, and you're talking about the physical product, and obviously it always goes back to like LPs, vinyl. Vinyl's the presentation. CDs, they just feel like such a wasted commodity. Like they're like digital cameras are done in a year, but vinyl still feels like it has some sort of like value to it. I mean, is that something that you guys are vested in as well as putting out vinyl copies of your stuff?
Absolutely. Because again, it's who we are. We collect vinyl and we will always put out vinyl. Because that to me is super physical. Like that's like a super CD. That's like the artwork as it's meant to be seen. I mean,
that's a laser disc.
Yeah.
Well, I think the funny thing is like it makes you sit down in that room. You put the record on. You can't carry it with you. You can't put it in a freaking car. You have to hear the warmth of the record, so you have to stay in the room. So it makes you really focus. And we're such an unfocused civilization, it seems these days. The vinyl is taking us back to that place.
Dust it off. Open up that gatefold and look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah.
Look at all this stuff. You can spin this wheel. It changes the pictures.
That's so weird. That's so not weird, but so poignant to say, Justin, because the amount of time that you invest in the art that you love, it really comes down to that band that you listen to on the vinyl. You know, you're one of those bands your fans, for the people who like me and Justin, who are fans of your band, and in enough the ship, I own your vinyls. When I listen to Crobot, I'll put the vinyl on, you know, because I know that that's the way that you intended it. Yeah. I like the vinyl sound, but I know that it goes hand in hand with your world, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's fine if you're not into it, you know, or your band isn't tiptoeing in that at all. But when you're a fan of the band, you genuinely like find something about them that and makes you listen and pay attention. And vinyl's a perfect example of that for Crobot.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Chad.
I mean, this investment, like you said.
Well, listen, the great thing is to go to a store and maybe, I don't know who the hell would ever get rid of a Crobot vinyl unless they had to, you know, buy groceries. But to go in and find what has a gatefold where it was a little burnt because someone decided to roll a fucking doobie on it.
Hey,
there you go. I mean, that's
they got step one right in listening to Crobot.
The only reason why I probably even got
that's the patina. That's the patina I want on my record. Is someone like, I know that some dude's uncle rolled a joint on this Bad Company record. I'm all good with that.
Have I told you about our rolling papers?
Yeah.
Dude, you look like the zigzag guy. From your profile, you're the fucking zigzag guy. Perfect, man.
Yeah. Right?
Call it space paper or some fucking weird, you know, nerd shit.
Do you smoke weed, Brandon? I mean, I don't know if that's like a legal thing in Pennsylvania, but you're still Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, it's not legal here.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what the rules are.
Actually, Chad, he's in the Caribbean. He's on Half Moon Cay, and
oh yeah, you're totally legal.
Maritime law. He's okay.
I don't know what it was, to be honest, but it looked good. It smelled good. So
you look like a rat.
I'll try anything twice. Right?
But you guys don't have distillery, so you don't have like medical cards there in Pennsylvania at all yet?
Yeah,
no?
Yeah, they have medical, and I think they're moving towards trying to legalize recreational here in Pennsylvania. Cool. That's a big push, especially now with so much of the economic hardships and everything going on with, you know, and it makes sense. I'll be honest. I am a fan.
Okay. We are. Speaking of fan, we're still waiting upon your moment that made you decide this is where this is my path.
Well, I was a sports kid, you know, and I was really into sports, but I had this, you know, love for music, and I was that guy that you'd go to and say, "Hey, can you find this CD for me and burn it?" Yeah, dude, I got you. So I would search for bands, and it was my thing in high school. I would, like, you know, all my friends, I'd be like, "Oh, you like this band? You should try this band." You know, and that was just, I would journey down the, you know, now we know it's similar artists on Spotify. All you do is hit a button. But, you know, I would just be that guy who I would just research similar artists of this band that I like and just find this crazy band that I've never heard of. And hopefully I can turn some more people onto it. And it was just this cool thing because, you know, the music community is such a tight-knit, it's such a cool thing to talk about. I love it, you know. And here I am, this sports kid, but I'm at my grandmother's for the summer, and this kid that I'm hanging out with, he plays guitar, right? And it's just so cool. Like, I just want to play guitar. And he's like, you want to play it? Yeah, dude, can I play it? Yeah, here, I'll show you how to play Highway to Hell. And, like, it just went on from there of, like, him just showing me songs on his Ibanez whatever it was with the Floyd Rose, and it was like an RG or something. I don't know if that's even right, but you know, I
Sounds
started
great.
playing guitar. I started playing guitar, so I'm like, you know what? I should probably learn how to sing now, because it's going to be a lot harder if I do this and learn how to do this and then learn how to sing. So I'm just going to do it all right now. I know I'm horrible, but I'm just going to work at it, and I'm really going to try to take it as seriously as I can to both avenues. And just one thing just kind of I got a lot better at singing the more I worked at it, and the more time I put into it. Guitar was always something that I had to work really hard for, and I still I still struggle. But it was the guitar. It was the guitar that got me into music, and then I had an accident when I was 15, turned 16. I got hit by a truck, and I got a compound fracture from my knee to my ankle. I actually have a titanium rod.
I didn't
And
know that.
yeah, and that ended sports for me. So that was it. Like, sports were done. Like, I had no choice. But I will say that I was already making that choice of moving towards music, and that just kind of like catapulted me, because I could do nothing for months but sit on my couch because I had this cast on, broken leg, and couldn't play sports anymore. So I put all my time into it. I put all my effort into it. And, I was playing out at 15. I didn't even wait till I was good. I was just like, you know what? I'm just doing it because that's what it takes,
Yeah, yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
My God. I can't even.
You had a sports mentality about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I just.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might throw all balls tonight at the ball game, but God damn it, I'm getting on that fucking mound.
Absolutely.
I don't want to talk
battle, right?
too much about this, man, but your story is exactly like mine. I was a sports kid, but I loved music, found Nirvana. I was the kid who read all the lyrics of liner notes to figure out what other bands define. I did the same thing for my sports bands. I played Dungeons and Dragons on the DL with the sport, some of the sports fans. Those kids and I had started a band, right? Moving forward, I got into a bad car accident, got really, really hurt, and couldn't no longer play sports. So I just hunkered down on guitar. I started with guitar and then with the vocals. But it was strange, because I'm sure there's tons of us that in this world now that are fighting constantly to remember that part of their mentality of where they were at such a formative age too, where sports and music and all the things that you're looking at, and you're looking at the sports guys, football players getting these chicks, and then but you're like, but this guy with the guitar is getting way cooler looking chicks. Those sort of like things that happen at those young ages that they have us chasing and fighting to chase that dragon. And that dragon is ultimately good times and smiles on people's faces, but mostly yours, because it's infectious, right? And I loved hearing you say, even though you got hurt, I'm sorry, but loved hearing you say that.
No, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. And we've known each other for a long time, and I've never known that about you, and as I'm sure you've never known that about me. But
No.
it's just a thing, and once you get the bug, it's just there. Once you get that feeling, like, and that's what's so hard about right now is that, I know for me, it's just the moment until I get to step on stage again and get that feeling again. And it's, such, it sounds so addictive, and it is. And that's, that's all part of it, is that it's just, it encompasses everything about the journey that I've been on as a music fan, as a musician. Like, every time I get up there, it's just all of that work and all of that time and all of everything goes into every sequential performance, right? Because we hope that we just keep getting better at what we do, and to think that those weird happy accidents, as we'll call them, just kind of led us, or kind of maybe kicked us in the ass a little bit. They didn't lead us, but kind of kick us in the ass to be like, no, maybe you should go down that road instead, and it's just crazy to think that, I don't know how good of a baseball player I was, really. I mean, I think I remember me being a good baseball player, but was I really good enough to be even where I'm at with music? It's just crazy to think that I think that I chose the right path, but in the parallel universe, maybe I could be playing for the Reds.
Yeah, or worst case, or even worse, than playing for the Reds, you could be playing for the minor league team that's been, in your 40s trying to play for the Reds still. And I think it's cooler to be in a band doing that same exact version of it than maybe playing in the minor league.
It's not like, dude. I'm just gonna say it's a lot better time. It's a lot better.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Brandon, I want to do that because just a quick pivot away from music. Talk about sports. You and I share a love of the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, I can't.
And,
I have to admit, I have to own up. I don't love the Boston Red Sox.
So much that you're no longer getting that fruitcake. What?
Basket. I am seriously a Cincinnati Reds fan, but I had an opportunity to go to Boston with my fiance, and I said, "Well, we have to go to Fenway. We have to go watch."
I'm eating crow.
So that I can tell Justin that I'm a huge fan and ruin his fucking life. It's gonna be awesome, babe.
I'll admit to eating crow on that one. I just assumed if you're gonna throw on the gear, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, okay. All right, let's move away quickly from that so it's washed away from people's memories.
Speaking of washing away, can we talk about Shiprock?
Hold on, one question before we get there.
Okay.
Matthew Childers, he's one of our Shiprockers. He wants to know, non-related to music, and this would include the comic book as well. What other activities do you like to do or indulge in?
Well, other than music right now, I am working construction, and that is a new venture for me. I always like a good challenge, and I always like learning something new, and I'll be the first to admit I am not a handyman. But over the last couple years of me like working in and out of the construction business and the excavating business, and thankfully I have an awesome brother-in-law who took me under his wing and is showing me the ropes, and his workers are cool enough and have enough patience to deal with me.
Yeah.
But I'm just so intrigued, and it's everything's so relative, right? I mean, I just see these houses and they're, carpentry. I don't know a thing really other than the 2 years that I've just been kind of the guy who gets the tools and runs for the lumber. And, every now and then I swing a hammer and get my hands dirty. But, I just sitting back and watching, just everybody does everything so differently. And it's just so relative to music. And, getting into things like that teaches me more about music sometimes than the topic of what I'm on, and maybe it's just the way my brain works that I just always connect the dots there. But that's what I've been doing lately, and it's definitely me left field with a bowling ball, but I like it. I like it.
Doesn't construction though play into like you're just sucking the kind of has this kind of musical kind of path to it? It's like basically like with any song or album or band in construction, you have to lay a foundation and then you build from there, right? We're going to put this wall up, which is going to be the verse. This is going to be the chorus. This is going to be the riff. Hey, let's throw a fucking drum solo in there. That's going to be the fucking like chimney, whatever. It's all relative in that sense. It's a big puzzle piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And none of it.
So it makes sense. It makes sense,
right?
Yeah, a lot of people in this business, when they're downtime, they're doing something in that sense where they're putting their hands on something and creating something else. I mean, I'm not saying they're doing pottery, but they're putting walls up, they're putting sheetrock up. It's a process. Yeah.
And that's a part of all this too that I think people don't really see is that when I, at least speaking for myself again, I have to come home and I have to work. I have to. So,
yeah.
And that's all part of the journey is that, I strive for one day to think that I don't have to work anymore, that this could be the thing that, helps pay the bills. And, although I'm not really there yet, it's a goal, and I think it's all relative that way too. It keeps a motivator in my back pocket for sure.
Well, I definitely think that's one of those professions that it takes a yeoman's work ethic, and that's the same that a touring band is. Just like, we got to get up and make this drive. We got to get up at 8. We got to run, packing up. Yeah, it's like I think anyone like they say most bands of a certain level have to have a blue collar work ethic.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you got to be flexible, right? Because anything that can go wrong will go wrong somewhere along the lines.
Yeah,
We've probably got
absolutely.
a story about every individual tire.
Yeah, all the time, by the way. Even when you're playing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of playing and why we're in this business, the right reason, Chad asked you, and he's gonna pontificate about the Shiprocked and with you guys motorboat experience.
Yeah, wow. I mean,
Also, real quick, Jen Zito, Jen was with us when we started this, she wakes up with nightmares and hot sweats because of the 2015 Truss episode.
oh boy.
Way to go, Brandon.
Yeah, and as does anybody in my immediate family.
Right.
They know that I may or may not do something that doesn't necessarily make the most sense for my well-being. And I think that worries some. But motorboat was great. Shiprocked, I mean, geez, we were on it 3 times or two or 3 times, I believe. And the first time was like, I just remember, like, I remember that I don't remember. It's just like the first time was like, all right, I'm just gonna get there and I'm just gonna drink the whole time.
And you did.
And I did. And I was like, yeah, I don't know that I'll do that next time. I want to actually like be able to interact next time. And so the next time was like, all right, I just want to see every show and just see everything. And that's what I did the second time. And it's always such a blast. Like that's the cool thing about Shiprock, right? Is that you have a different experience every time you go. And it's not only because there's different bands and different things to do, or you're going to a different place. It's just a different thing every time. And that I think surprised me the most is that every experience that I've had has been a different one. It hasn't been the same experience. And I tell you what, like the fans being so intimate and close as they are on the ship is so cool. It's such a cool thing to just be able to like bounce around and see your favorite bands and then go eat dinner and just like 24 hours a day. Like,
yeah, whenever you want, soft serve ice cream.
Like I just got done watching Alter Bridge. You mean I can like make a banana split? Like that's life. That's life, right? So I mean,
it should be that simple.
Yeah. Well, it is Shiprocked.
Yeah. Seriously, man. I mean, and you mentioned something about the fans, and that's we always talk about this, and I know for a fact because we were just talking to a fan in particular about naming their dogs after our bands and having these moments in their lives that they'll never ever forget, and we won't ever forget, and that follows us from every little place in the world. Like I was talking about one time, I think maybe with Mark Tremonti or somebody when we were talking about Germany, just being in Germany at a show. Like literally never been to Germany, don't know anything really about this point in time about where we're playing at all. But then just hearing at the back of the room and song ends, we're like, thank you, and you hear some go, Shiprocked, and we're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, hey, I know that, like, and that moment just brought the whole room together. The energy that we share in these experiences, even here on Making Waves together, I know that it's spreading somewhere else the way that moment happens for us. Can you recall any of those times?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, all the time. It's like you said, It's like anywhere you go in the world, there's probably like a 65% chance that someone from Shiprock is going to be in that audience.
Yeah.
And that tells you something, not only the fact that Shiprockers are from everywhere, but Shiprockers go to shows. Shiprockers love music. Like that is the one constant. It doesn't matter where you go. You go to Germany, you go to Estonia, you go to California. Those people are fans of music, and it's such a good time, and that's such a bonus. But I mean, think about it as a band. Like you are playing for people who want to see you. Like,
yeah.
they want to be there like that. And that is such a luxury. It sounds such an easy thing, but for like a band like us, where a lot of people don't know who we are, and you know, we're okay with that. We know that we're building here, and you know, we're always trying to build the crowds, right? But here you are, you have thousands of people, hundreds of people, maybe. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but
we're gonna go thousands.
Yeah, thousands. So you have all these people that are just there to see music. Like that's why they're there. Like they're not there to be just on a cruise. They're there to be on a cruise with their favorite bands, to go see these bands and interact with these bands. And you know, I think that's such a cool thing, is that passion is there and you don't have to fight for it. You know, that's what I think makes the shows so great as a performer. It's like you don't really have to win over the Shiprocked audience. Like the Shiprocked audience is already there to see you play.
And they found out about you before you even got on the ship, right? And that's the crazy thing.
They do their research. They listen to your songs. It's like, you know, how many times I never heard of your band, but I saw you guys were on the lineup, so I had to check you out. And man, like I'm just hooked. And it's just one of those things where, you know, I think people just genuinely like to be a part of the experience that is Shiprocked, and we love to be a part of it too as performers, because it's easy for us. It's so easy to have a good time. If you're having a bad time, you went to have a bad time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many things that parallels with that I think that you and I have talked about many times, not just about the Shiprockers, but the bad time, the people that you go up in front of you. It's like the Germany thing for me, what I was going to kind of touch on there is I was having a bad time. I was like, fuck, there's like 1,000 people here or whatever. It wasn't we were supporting somebody, by the way. If somebody's like, what are they, 1,000 people in Germany? Okay. I don't remember who we were opening up for, but I was like, nobody cares. You know, it's one of those moments. We've all had them. Sometimes they're really fucking brutal on your psyche. You're like, fuck, I'm in Germany. I lost my house lease while I was whatever's going on in your personal life. And then that moment happened. And I was like, fuck yes, Shiprocked. Hey, and my energy came up, and that yelling to us, it made the whole room for some reason, like say, oh, somebody knows them. Okay, they're cool. We'll pay attention.
Yeah.
That's all I needed, you know?
And isn't that crazy how it just, there's such this tight-knit community of such awesome people. And it is everywhere. Shiprocked is everywhere. And it's just, you know, and everybody is cool. That's the other thing. Like, it's hard to explain because, you know, it's so cliche, but you know, it's just everybody on the ship is cool. They're there to have a good time. Nobody's there to ruin anybody else's good time. And how could you, with so many cool things going on? Yeah. It's just, you know, it just all makes sense on paper. And I promise anybody who is even just like on the fence about it, it is the coolest experience as a fan. I don't think I could ever do a cruise ship, just a regular cruise ship, because I've done Shiprocked. Like, I don't think any cruise would ever match what I've experienced on Shiprocked, because it has been such an amazing experience, just as simply as a fan of music. And you know, I don't think any cruise could ever even compare.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Shiprockers, and you know, if they see you on the bill and go, I don't know that band, but you know, I'm going to cliff note the balls off of this band and know the stuff I need to know, and then they become a fan when the cruise is done and you've blown them away live and like that. But we used to think, well, they're just the ultimate street team for Shiprock, but quite honestly, they're the ultimate street team for music fans. They could go to a club and be the one guy going, you got to check this fucking band out, and he'll go around and tell 100 people around him and might annoy the fuck out of them, but they're not going to pay attention because that guy said, you know what? Let me fucking tell you about this band. They're going to blow you away. And the guy's like, okay, I'll give him 30 seconds of my time. And then that 30 seconds becomes a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then your whole set's paid attention to. The other thing, too, about the Good Times, yes, we've now installed a Good Times room on Shiprock. So basically, anyone that comes on board looking for a bad time, we take in that room, beat the shit out of them until they realize they're going to have a goddamn good time.
Yeah, and then it's really Stalin-esque. It's crazy in there.
You have your papers.
Justin's idea, 100%, and we love him for it.
be like in the dungeons of this pirate ship? Because I've been hearing screams. I didn't want to say anything this whole time.
Dude, we got the memo, bro.
You might have forgotten somebody in there.
Nope. They were a bad boy. 2 years is a long time. They'll hang. Don't worry. And the good thing about it, they've got Wilson.
Oh, forever. Because of the volleyball. If you're not.
Yeah, there you go. It's Castaway. I'm sorry. I just didn't want you to. We were all on the same page.
We are. Okay.
Hey, listen, man, Brandon, we've had you like an hour and we're going an hour 20 minutes, man. I don't know what you got cooking there in the island. I don't know if you got you got to get some coconuts for your evening meal or whatever you guys do. I
figured I better talk to you guys as long as I can because you're probably going to be the last human beings I ever talk to because I'm probably going to die on this island.
Yeah. Either that or the Caribbean jerk chicken's going to get you, and my friend.
I'm not getting so much more questions than I'm getting more like gasoline rules, dude.
It does rule.
I'm getting statements.
Oh, that's
statements. I think it's my favorite of the singles yet. So,
man, we like statements. Statements like that are more than welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, we're so thankful to have such a great fan base, and again, Chad, to your point, so many of those lines cross paths with Shiprockers, and I mean, these people are so amazing. They're family, and a lot of the people that we've met on Shiprocked and have continued to talk to are like family, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, Chad. Like these people are all over the place, but you look forward to this city because this person's going to be there. And, that really makes everything feel like home for us as performers, like traveling. It makes us feel at home when these people go out of their ways to make us lasagna and bring us cookies and, things like that. It's so cool that these people go the extra mile and they're just, and anybody on Shiprock just wants to see all these bands succeed and always support the merch tables and everything to the utmost capacity. And it's just, they're such amazing people. And I can't stress it enough that, Shiprock has really changed our lives as a band because we've met some of the most amazing people aboard the ship and, met some of the most amazing bands and friendships that we've continued from that. And, that just, it speaks volume for the community that has been built with Shiprocked, and I hope to continue to be a performer on Shiprocked, and I hope you guys have us back. We would love to play at any point in time. We will play every year if you would let us. So just throwing that out there.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a space on a T-shirt for you somewhere, my friend. I got a weird question. It keeps.
Are you talking about the back of the tour shirt, or are you just saying we'll give you a shirt for that one?
No, the back of the event shirt, Chad.
I know.
God damn, acting like a rookie. Anyhow, okay, Brandon. This question this term keeps coming up in some questions here. Yingling, what is that? The beer. What does it mean to you?
So I was raised on lager. Yingling proudly says that it's the only lager that is just called lager. And I was raised on lager, and it is the brewery is a stone's throw away from me right now.
I've been with you, I believe.
In my mind, because, obviously I'm right outside the pirate ship right now, but my mind is at home. And,
at the brewery.
And Yeagley is awesome. I mean, it's the America's oldest brewery. Just throw that out there. And it's right here in at home for me. So and I just saw on the news. There you go. I just saw on the news that they're gonna be taking it to the West Coast now. So anybody who has not,
what's your feeling on that?
It's
yes, no.
Well, they're teaming up with Molson, but they're saying that it's not like a collaboration so much as it is like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Sure.
So I hope that's the way it stays because the cool thing about Yingling is that it's a family-owned business. It still feels mom and pop, especially for me because it's hometown
Because
beer.
they're my mom and pop. Is that what you're gonna say? Is it your family? No. Sorry.
Hey, so when I started drinking beer at like 14, like Yingling, this is like just my blonde moment, or now it's silver, but I had a blonde moment years ago. I always thought Yingling was a Asian beer. Anyway,
It's
like an Asian name.
from
yeah. Oh, good. Now I look like a fucking Shriner or I'm in Devo. Which one is it?
Oh, that's awesome.
Where's my car? Where's my little car?
Yeah, I mean, Yingling is amazing though. It's great beer. Thank you again for showing us the brewery.
Oh yeah, you have to smell those cavernous. The brick down there just smells like Prohibition. It's just just nasty, and that's where they brew the beer. So, some history.
Gunpowder and crime. That's what it smells
like. Oh man, we're losing it.
Yeah. Anyway, listen. Do you have anything to close with, Chad? We've kept this young man for a long time.
No, I just wanted to say that if you haven't checked out the record, which I'm sure you fucking have, but if you haven't, go check out the record, Mother Brain. That's what it looks like. They have a new single.
Yes, Gasoline.
If it'll pull up, I think it's good.
Now, Brandon, can people just go to crobotband.com to pick up merch or anything else regarding you guys?
Yep. Go to Crobot Band. That's where all the merch is at. We got it up on Facebook, all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, these guys are multimedia with the merch. So remember to check out if you guys are looking for some new cooking things. Why not, man? It's 2028. Let's get weird. Go get some rock and roll rub or some hot sauce from these guys. I think it's a Mother Pain. Is it hot? Is that hot where it causes like you cry for your mother?
No, it's not.
Okay.
And, it's just punny. It's not really fitting. I'll be honest.
All right.
We love.
I don't want you throwing a ghost pepper in there and like just wrecking people's lives.
It's just a sweet habanero, sweet like mom and sour like she gets sometimes.
Drink some milk, son. It'll cool it. Brandon, this has been a lot of fun, and thank you so much. And doing this remote as you've done, down there, 2,000 miles away from us, and it looks
great Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a good connection there. I mean, you must have aligned those seashells just properly.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is great, but can I get a pina colada, please?
That's right. So, guys, if you're out there and you're looking for music, obviously their newest album is Mother Brain, and if you want to pick up their sophomore album, Fat City, and obviously their full-length debut, I'm not saying their debut because they had a couple of EPs, it's Something Supernatural. So check those records out and find them at anywhere where you can stream records, or if you want to go ahead and buy them, order them where you can get physical product. Get the vinyl. It's much sexier. That's about it on this one. Brandon, do you have anything else for your ship-rocking friends out there tonight as you sign off?
Just hang tight. I'm keeping the ship warm. So listen, we'll see you soon, and I'll get pina coladas.
That's right. They're all on Brandon. Said no one.
Yep.
Listen, guys, before we call it a night tonight, stay tuned this Friday morning because we'll announce the next Making Waves 11 guests for next Wednesday. A little housekeeping here for the cruise. Guys, get your cabins. We're still at over 90% sold. If you guys want to get on this thing, cabins are still available. So go to shiprocked.com to purchase your cabin, or you can go to any of the forums that are on Facebook here, and you can find some cabin mates if you guys just want to chip in and make some new friends because, shiprockers, man, we're a family once you meet them. Other than that, guys, remember, if you want to listen to this podcast again, it'll still be available here on Facebook Live for about 48 hours. Then it eventually will move over to our spots at Google Podcasts, iTunes Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts. Just put in Making Waves, and you can find this episode and the other previous ones. Remember, guys, theme nights have now been announced. We've got Come As You Drink. That should be interesting. Roaring 20, so a lot of Gatsby going on there. Summer Camp. Oh, God, I'm going to watch Meatballs over and over.
Oh, that sounds good.
Spellbound, which is probably a little bit of a spinoff from what we were doing in New Orleans in 2020. And then Stone Age Vacation. So, Rusty, You're a good kid. And that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this Wednesday, September 16th, with our buddy Brandon from Crobot. Brandon, best of luck as you go along, and we'll continue to watch you guys do this virtual thing. And obviously, eventually, we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the road doing what you guys do best.
Thanks for having me. I promise I'll have learned cheeseburgers in paradise by the time you guys get here. So,
I love you. And I love you too, Justin. Yeah. I love all of you out there watching the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for everything. Guys.
Yeah. Hey, muttons are go. Look at those mutton chops. Those are going to be delicious in 2021 with some lamb sauce.
Maybe with the Yeagley on the side. Oh my God.
Yeah. Side of Yeagley and his lamb chops. Anyway, good night, everybody. Have a great evening. We'll catch you guys again next week. Thanks so much.